I use my email for actually. Okay, there we go. So you should have got a little note that says we're streaming live, Siobhan.
Yes.
I actually live right behind here. Grapefruit trees, right
Oh,
here.
right, it's
Yeah, on 23rd.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one of the things I have on the agenda is to discuss doing a fruit tree giveaway.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and because we
haven't done one in God, we did one before. On the street, they taught people how to plant them from the tree people.
It was probably tree people. They used to do fruit tree giveaways.
Sure.
And when last year we did the resource fair in Jefferson Park, we just did, regular shade tree giveaway. Yeah, but not a fruit tree. So, and I went to Sydney Comlogger's little town hall, and I was talking to some guy there, and he's like, "Oh, do you know tree people?" And I said, "Yeah." "Well, do you know a guy named Andy Lipkiss?" And I said, "Yeah, I know him." He said, "Well, 15 years ago, he gave us some fruit trees, and people to this day talk about how great those trees are and how they're still getting fruit from." So it is something that's really.
Oh, it's really great. Jeff ended up taking the one that people can show up. I think he got 4 or 5, so it did very well. We had it in the cul-de-sac. They dropped them there, and people signed up, showed up. It was nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Very nice.
We'll talk about
We
that.
haven't been able to hook up again, and you had told us that they weren't doing them.
Yeah, City Plants is not, they're doing regular shade tree, but fruit trees is what I really want to do. And UC Agriculture and Natural Resources actually has some hybrid, I don't know where they are in the process, but they've done some hybrid varieties for mangoes, some more tropical type fruits, which
would grow here.
Oh, yeah, it'd be great. Hi, Candace.
Hey, how are you guys?
We just knew it was you.
I know you can't miss that Bengal photo anywhere.
That is the cutest picture.
He's still up to no good.
Probably opening the door to strangers while you're on the.
I know. We just got back from Cost Plus and he was in the market walking around just like shopping.
I mean, they are too much. They believe they have credit cards.
Exactly. I said that they got to start getting a job to pay for their treats.
I feel the same way in my house.
The chickens got to start, laying a lot of eggs and, paying for their chicken food.
That and all the cat family we have on the porch.
So what I thought we would do, we'll start with Washington Boulevard, then maybe get to Jefferson, maybe get to Adams, just to get our 2 commercial corridors. And I know that the environmental committee a few years ago started this, and we had metal cages. I don't know if you've seen them, Siobhan, along Washington Boulevard. A lot of the trees are enclosed in these metal cages. Well, they're detrimental to the long-term health of trees, and also where they're empty sites, the city won't plant new trees in those areas.
Well,
right, those tree wells. So Renee Shackelford with LA Sands removed some of those cages. They had to coordinate with Public Works. Public Works would remove them, and then LA Sands would dispose of the metal. But I think it'd be a good project to, our boundary goes from Crenshaw all the way to Normandy along Washington. So to talk about identifying all of the cages that are there and working with the city to start removing them. And then maybe work on some kind of beautification to have, you know, the tree wells cleaned out of weeds and trash. I know a couple years ago, last year, CD10, I don't know if you came, Donna, but at Arlington, I don't know, 10 blocks over. Oh, no, it was at Western. It was from Western to Arlington. They gave us shovels and rakes and gloves, and we all got together and cleaned out the tree wells and all the trash. So
We used to do it along Adams, and it made me laugh so hard because Linda has this thing about banners and signs.
the signs on,
And we Monty said we were stealing freeway signs. We may have taken a couple, but anyway, it was so much fun. We loved it.
hey,
Took all
Kareem.
the things off the poles, all the
Yeah.
advertisements.
Hey,
That was our job.
hi Teresa.
How you doing, Kareem?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm
I don't know
good,
if I could
thanks.
hear Jesus Christ.
Yes, we can hear you, James.
Oh, it's great.
It's-
Hi,
James.
James.
Hey, James, we can hear you.
Okay, I got it now.
Oh, okay. Hey, Leah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. I
Well,
probably won't stay the whole time if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Thank you very much. And actually, the Sixth Avenue Elementary School is the first agenda item, so we'll get to that right away.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Hunter.
Hello. Good to see you.
You. I'm just gonna wait another minute or so.
What? When it rings, I'll get it for you, or you can get it yourself. It's the timer's on.
You have anything else growing? You put any seedlings out yet, Donna?
No, not out. We put them in the
In the greenhouse.
I'm
Okay.
getting ready to go and get some of those bendable sticks that things can grow on.
Oh, yes, yes.
We're gonna make forms, cause we have a lot of cucumbers and things that grow. Oh, and they grow a lot where the chickens have been.
Any more headway with the CIM project, that empty lot?
We're still discussing the infrastructure and sort of plans, but no, just thinking on how work, security.
Yeah, I drove by there. It seems like it's covered over. I mean, is it, I couldn't see because it's behind
Yes,
that wall. Is
I
that,
haven't been over.
oh, you haven't been over
I know where it is because I grew up around. All Grove. But haven't, but I was just thinking of things that we needed to consider. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So welcome, everybody. This is the UNNC, United Neighborhoods and Neighborhood Council Tree Committee. It's our first meeting, yay. There was a tree committee many years ago, but we reactivated it. So now we're gonna start changing the canopy in South LA. So let me bring up the agenda. And everybody, you can see that, right?
Yes, I see it.
Thank you, James. So we're going to do a welcome. We've already called it to order. General public comments. We're going to talk about 3 projects. One is the tree planting project. Leah Fisher is here. She's going to talk a little bit about the Hancock Park Gardening Club. And as many of you guys know, I'm on the South LA Tree Coalition. And we're going to talk about that project. We're going to talk about possibly how we can go about removing the tree cages along Washington Boulevard and possible tree planting project there. And also if we want to explore doing a fruit tree giveaway. Also, I'd like to talk about possibly creating a brochure like with an FAQ so we can give it to homeowners so they can understand the process for pruning the right-of-way trees and also for businesses because they seem to hack away at the trees. So to talk about that, we'll have a round robin discussion and then we will adjourn. So I think maybe a small group that we just go around and introduce ourselves really quickly, and I'll start with Donna Jones.
Hi, everybody, I'm Donna Jones from West Adams Avenue. And I'm not happy to be here.
And then I'll just go as I see people on the screen. Siobhan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Siobhan O'Neill Schwenk. I'm a candidate for one of the seats in Region 4, and I am curious about the Street Tree Committee. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you, Siobhan. James.
Hi, everybody. I'm James Masonette. Happen to have the wonderful pleasure of being Teresa's husband. Also, I'm part of the board of the West Adams Terrace HPOZ and the South LA Community Police Advisory Board. So I'm always looking out for the trees.
Thank you. Hunter.
Hi, I'm Hunter Reese. I'm the communications director of UNNC and also a member on the board.
Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah Fisher. I'm a member of the Hancock Park Garden Club, which is part of a national garden club organization. And we do projects in our neighborhood, but also neighborhoods adjacent. And I had the pleasure of meeting Teresa and looking at the property around 6th Street Avenue School. And we traditionally give grants to projects. So I don't know how this fits in with what we're going to talk about today, but I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Karine.
Hi, everybody. My name is Karine Elbridge. I also serve in the board of the UNNC representing Region 2.
Candace.
Hi everyone. I'm Candace. I'm in the avenues. I don't have my camera on because I'm like knee deep in taxes. But yeah, so that's my cat.
Your
And
cat is super cute.
thank you. What else am I supposed to say? I guess I'm a neighbor. I'm not part of the
Yay.
board or anything.
No, you're a community member. That's what we want.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
And Dolores.
Good evening, everyone. I apologize, I'm not public ready. And besides that, I'm feeding my face. Board member, UNNC.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming. So we're gonna start off with general public comments. Does anybody have any general public comments? Well, I have one. Just want you guys to know I received my ballot today. This year is 2025 is our election cycle for our neighborhood council, and we all had to submit an application, request a ballot because it's vote by mail only. So I received my ballot today. So the system does work, and I'm happy about that. Any other public comments?
Yes, hold on a second. There is a prom closet that's going on. Let me see, Sunday, March the 30th, from 9 to 1 at the Olympic Police Station, 1130 South Vermont Avenue, and it's for girls to go and get free prom dresses and accessories for upcoming proms. And I can put the information in the chat. And then see, city has a free mulch program. I guess you're going to talk about that, Teresa.
No, I don't, I'm not, I don't have it on the agenda. I'd love to hear about it, Dolores.
Oh, okay. So sanitation, and environmental program services, they're giving away free mulch. Program is available to all residents of the city. They're providing free quality mulch in 9 different locations throughout the city that are open to the public. And I can put the locations in the chat if anyone is interested.
So that is for people to come and pick up mulch, or this is where then they deliver it and they put it in your driveway and it's enough
No,
for everybody on your
You
block?
got to bring your own bags and your own shovel
Okay.
and to pick
Yeah.
up mulch.
Yeah, if you could put that in, that would be great. And maybe Hunter, we can put it on our social media too. That would be great. Thank you,
That
Dolores.
sounds good, especially the prom. That sounds really interesting to put on social media. Thank you.
Okay, and they're giving away, I don't know, some free sharp containers where you put needles and other stuff in its containers to go in the trash. I'll put that in the chat as well.
Okay, thank you.
I wanted to make sure everyone knew that here at Benny Potter, there's going to be an egg extravaganza on the 5th, 10 a.m. You have kids or would like to volunteer. There's going to be activities for kids for the Easter holiday and all kinds of music, food, and such right here at Benny Potter Park, right next to the house where we are at the pavilion. So I guess it's 2301 24th Street, and it will be 10 a.m. on April 5th. Please get it out to people in the neighborhood because it'll be a lot of fun and plans are being made right now.
Thank you, Donna. And also, I completely forgot, we are having a meet and greet the candidates event at the pavilion this Saturday from 11 to 1. So please come out. Everybody in here really knows about it already because you're on the board or you're a candidate like Siobhan, but please come out if you like and you can meet the candidates who are running for governing board. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with our first item. I want to pull up a picture of the 6th Avenue School so we can all take a look at this. I was pleased to have, as Leah mentioned, to do a walkthrough around the school, and we were the Hancock Park Gardening Club and the South LA Tree Coalition were discussing just share for a second. Ways we could partner and address some of the problems in South LA, the tree canopy issues in South LA. So let me just okay, can everybody see that? Hunter?
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
So thanks. So Leah, we want to talk a little bit about the Hancock Park Gardening Club and what you would like to do possibly?
So we generally give grants. Sometimes we're involved. We are all avid gardeners, but in terms of like grunt work, that's not really what we do. And some of our projects have been the Alexandria House garden in the front. There's a Watts Unity garden that we did with Green Spaces LA. We did a Natural History Museum curiosity cart. So there's very specific things that have a beginning and an end. And while our mission is to beautify neighborhoods, ours and then ones, you know, in Los Angeles that are reasonably nearby, we also need to have a way to maintain that greenery. So it seems that the watering part is very challenging. So that's my I think that this site is great because it's in desperate need of trees, but it's the maintenance that I'm concerned about.
Oh,
So-
Leah and I reached out to Amy Schulenberg with LA Sanitation. And we reached out to KYCC also, and both of them are familiar with the school and the fact that there are no trees around the perimeter of the school. For the sake of this picture, on the left side, there are 3 trees. And then there's an empty tree well, but the rest of the perimeter of the school is nothing but concrete. So LA Sands does have some funding for concrete cuts. But they want to be able to guarantee that and KYCC also has trees, so they could plant the trees, but both of them need reassurance and some kind of contract that we would provide watering for 3 years. I'm an advocate of 5 years, but right now we just need to do 3 years. So the question is, how are we going to achieve that? I know it's about $1,400 per tree per year. Amy estimates there are 15 to 17 tree wells. I don't think so. The current tree wells on this side are 4 by 6. I think it'd be better to have 4 by 8 size tree wells. That way we could put in a larger tree, which will give us some canopy. If you guys can see, the entire area of the playground is without shade. There are a couple of trees here, which by the way have been very poorly pruned, but there isn't any shade here. So if we could get some large canopy trees, then maybe at least on the perimeter of the interior of the school, we could eventually get some shade. So I thought we could just brainstorm on it. I know that the neighborhood council can only commit for 1 year of any project. We can't make any future commitments, but we could also discuss if we want to go to a CD10. Recently, Heather Hutch, and let me bring up this document. Our councilwoman is Heather Hutt, and she recently, I have the motion there, Donna, if you take a look at it. And can everybody see that? She recently requested $500,000 from this particular fund, a redevelopment project fund, but it is to go to the community Office of Community Beautification. So maybe there's a possibility we could work with them to provide some of the watering. I don't know if she's already has a project in mind for this, but if we could ask her to provide watering. Amy Schulenberg recommended that we reach out to a company called Brightview, and they're a private company that would and can provide watering. So that's also something that we can explore if we want to go down that path. But I think the Hancock Park Group is willing to provide a grant of $10,000. So South LA Tree Coalition can do like $5,000. So I don't know, I just thought since it's in our footprint, what can we do in the neighborhood council to support this project? Any ideas?
I'd just like to, I'm going to be presenting to the club tomorrow, and I'm concerned that they're not going to want to I'm not positive that they're going to want to give a grant for water. But that being said, it's worth a try. My question is, where does the water come from?
Well, if we were to go with a private company like Brightview, they would, I don't know if they have their own facility or where they would get it.
They
It wouldn't
truck
come
it
to-
in?
Yes, they would truck it in. We would have a contract that would require them to water 15 gallons per tree once a week for 33 weeks. They wouldn't water during the winter. But maybe it doesn't have to be for the watering. I mean, I think KYCC is willing to supply the trees for free. So, because they also have a grant. So, and Hunter, I'm specifically throwing this out to you. I thought it could also be part of a community event. Maybe we could have some outreach event, involve the school, you know, and have everybody come out and do planting. Leah, maybe we could also include, I have on here a fruit tree giveaway. So maybe that's something that you could fund. I haven't been able to figure out where to get the fruit trees yet. This is just some conceptual things right now. But
So have we interacted with the principal at all yet?
no, I have not followed up with her.
And because they have water there, right?
Yes, but that would still require us, a group or someone to do the watering. Now, I do know of many years ago, UNNC did purchase a watering truck or something. Do you remember about that, Donna? I think there was some in Western Heights, the UNNC provided funding for some big watering thing that had wheels, and the community over there rotated but between residents to fill it, and then they all figured out how to water it, you know, rolled it around to water. So that could be another thing. Maybe we purchase that and then we get a group that goes to water it, you know, I don't know. We're just kind of brainstorming here, so
I'm gonna investigate the watering cart thing. I think I know who might know where that ended up. But in terms of like what we would want to fund, I'm sure the school has groundskeepers, even part-time, who could do that watering. So do they need someone to fund the watering of the trees? Or
Yes.
is it?
No, yes, they would need somebody to fund them because the trees have to receive 15 gallons of water
Right.
per week.
And are they on school grounds or are they on city property?
They're on
Well,
city property.
It's the public right of way that belongs to the city, right?
How does the city usually water trees? Street trees?
Poorly,
Badly?
I think.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
we have trees here. We have nonprofit organizations that do tree planting, but they get grants. So they determine which community they want to plant in. They work with UFD to see what sites are available, and they do it. But right now, KYCC doesn't have any money for watering. They only have a grant to do planting. And I will also say that LACC did planting on Jefferson Boulevard where they were supposed to water to, and we have many trees, not many. We have some trees that died because they didn't receive water. So
I've never seen a water truck in LA. I have seen them in Culver City. They go around and water the center median where the trees are. And I've never seen one of them. So I don't know what they do, like you said, poorly.
It might be worth a conversation with the principal to see if, since they've already got groundskeepers on site, if they would like if we could help collectively fund a grant so their groundskeepers can keep an eye on those trees. They're already in place. They're already there. They probably also have a summer watering schedule. It might be worth checking with them to see. And if that's the case, finding out what would the budget be and funding it that way. And then coming together, all of us, to organize a grant to pay their groundskeepers essentially to keep an eye on those trees, because since it's city property, it's a little outside of their scope.
Right, I would say that they do have a sprinkler system. We did notice a sprinkler system when we did the walkthrough. And
But who knows if it reaches out there?
oh, no, it would not reach out there. I'm just saying that to talk about the groundskeeper,
Mhm.
that also those are LAUS. I don't know if they're gonna have a union or there'll be some restriction doing public right of way, but it's certainly something we can explore. Candace?
Another thing that might be an option, is to kind of maybe look into a sustainable way of harvesting rainwater. I managed to purchase water totes off of Facebook Marketplace for $30 each. And we just put our rain gutters to siphon into the water totes, and it has a little nozzle at the bottom. So if there wasn't access to water or they felt like it was gonna raise it too much, mine tend to last throughout the summer. And you can just put a bucket underneath and, take it over. It is a little bit more work, but it might be a good option even for the kids to each one has to grab a bucket and help with the trees. I don't know. It's good work. But that's something to think about just in terms of if they were going to complain about their water bill going up.
And I think, Hunter, was it you? Someone mentioned doing a project with the school. Maybe there's a class where the planting of the trees and the watering could be incorporated into some sustainability or environmental class. I don't know. Was that you, Hunter? No?
I believe that somebody mentioned, is it not a science forward school? Like, would this not go hand in hand with some of their classes? I feel like that was brought up also, but my idea was, yeah, having the kids maybe be involved in the planting process, kind of getting an idea of what that looks like, and that would give us some help planting the trees as well.
Okay, so I guess what we'll do now is I'll reach out to the principal and find out what if she's willing to supply the water, if nothing else, and then we can strategize on what we want to do or how we want to move forward with that.
And maybe we want to do one side, there's four completely empty sides, except for, as Teresa said, those few trees on the, I guess, west side, right?
Right.
But maybe we would start with one side and see how after a year, if they were getting sustained,
And in that conversation with the principal, I think it's also worth asking, to Hunter's point, about do they have a gardening program or a science program where this would fit in, and or just say, we've got all this money for trees. We noticed you don't have any. We would like to help. Like, can we brainstorm some ideas together for how to do that? Here's some thoughts that we had. Is this even feasible? And see what comes out of that conversation.
Okay, these are great ideas.
Also, you can go to the district office for that particular school and see if a program, I'm sure there are some types of opportunity for science driven projects, and maybe then could fund the opportunity to have a club, or each classroom could adopt a tree. And then once maybe giving them if the water gets okay, they could be given a rolling water truck, and the one that the tree does the most growing or is alive after a certain time, they're given a party, award or whatever. There might be something, I'm not even sure what might be available, but I'm pretty sure they're doing some kind of science.
There, Teresa, when we walked by, we saw
The
something
other,
in the yard that looked like some kind of growing project.
right, I think there's another
Another
elementary
school.
school, a smaller school that
Right.
also is in that space, some charter school, and they did appear to have like a garden or some greening outside. So that might, maybe they would be interested. That instead of the Sixth Avenue, maybe the charter school that's in there would be interested in that project too. Okay. These are great ideas, everyone. Okay, so I have my work set out for me on this thing. Leah, thank you very much. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were gonna get back to your committee tomorrow. But you can just let them know where we are with, well, at least where the neighborhood council is with this project.
Right, and also I think in terms of planting trees, we might be now waiting till fall anyway, right?
Yes, and we'll certainly need that amount of time if we're gonna do an outreach event around it. So, because it takes us many months to get things approved through the city clerk, so.
And I
Judith,
also
that would
have
be a great
another
idea.
potential, a place that I can, a foundation that I know that might be interested. The only thing is, are these charitable organizations that foundations can donate to? Do you know, Teresa?
They cannot donate to the neighborhood council, because we are a government entity. The South LA
Maybe
Tree,
something could be set up just for this, right?
yes. The South LA Tree Coalition has received grants. So it's maybe something that we could do to filter through
Through
that
there, okay.
project, yeah.
All right, more to explore. Thank you so much, everybody, for letting me join. Bye.
Oh, thank you very much for coming. All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, guys. That's a lot of good feedback there. All right, so the next project, the next agenda item are the tree cage removals along Washington Boulevard. So in the agenda packet, just one second. The Urban Forestry Division has a software program, called Urban Tree Keeper 8, and it lists the city of Los Angeles has about 700,000 public right-of-way trees, and it lists all of the trees in the city. And there's also filter for parks. So if we wanted to find out the trees in our park or around in the city parks, Griffith Park, that you can identify that too. So what I did was I went in and I did a search and I set up some boundaries just for Washington Boulevard. I think we could come up with a program to kind of set the standard for the city on a major boulevard by identifying the trees. We have a lot of tree cages. Sorry, I'm out of focus here. We have metal tree cages that were put around the trees about 20 years ago by Nate Holden. Right? You think that's right? Yeah. You think Herb Wesson? Okay.
I'm not sure.
But at the time, they were nice and they were acceptable. Now the city urban forestry will not replant trees in empty wells where there are cages. So in order for us to get new trees, we have to remove the cages. Also, if you look at some of the trees within the cages now, some of them are deformed and some of the branches are unable to get through, so they're not the best for the longevity and the health of the trees. So a few years ago, some of the cages were removed. The environmental committee, the group of people working on the environmental committee, we worked with LA Sanitation to remove some of the cages. So I would like to do that again. I'd like to get rid of all the cages along Washington Boulevard. That way we are now, we can go about updating all of the empty tree wells and we can get the trees that are there pruned properly and try to make it a beautiful boulevard. So how does that sound to everybody? Does that sound like something people are interested in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I have here is a document that has all of the trees along Washington Boulevard, the north and the south. from Crenshaw, well, it starts actually from Normandy going to Crenshaw. And what I thought we could do is, if everybody would like to take a couple of blocks and walk down and make a note, there's a cage, or if there's a metal grate, and we could go about identifying those trees, so we can put together a list and send it to sanitation to, we'd have to work with sanitation and Bureau of Street Services to remove those. Street Services removes them, and then sanitation recycles the metal. So it's a coordinated project that they do together. And at the same time, we could make note if there are stumps. Some of these have been identified to have stumps, but last year there was some planting along Washington Boulevard. So and this was done to this website was updated 2 years ago. So these vacant sites may now have trees that were planted by KYCC. They did some planting along here. So if we could, maybe as a group, everybody take a couple of blocks and we come back and we have a more accurate listing of the vacant sites or the stumps and which ones actually have cages, then we can go to the next phase of getting the cages removed and getting some new trees planted. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
That sounds good to me. I'm happy to take a bit of that stretch. What were the crossroads that you said? I think you said Normandy and what was the other way?
It was from Normandy all the way to Crenshaw. So that's several miles. So that's why I was thinking we break it up into blocks. That the 1902 Washington is the beginning of Normandy, and then it goes, it gradually, the blocks increase till you get to the 4,000 block near Crenshaw.
I can take the avenues.
We're not doing avenues, we're doing Washington.
What isn't? Don't the avenues come to one?
Oh, yeah, I mean, like.
I mean, I can take part of
Oh, yeah, okay, so.
That's our board.
Yeah. Oh, God, you don't have to take that many if you don't want. I mean, I was just thinking this is like a nice day. You just walk out, you just bring your little document and you make some notes on it, so.
I can do from Normandy to Western, the first stretch.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Both
I can-
sides?
Normandy, both sides?
I'll look on both sides. I'll look on both sides. No, I could do that because it's,
Yeah.
I make that walk. I go to the plaza over there, so I can just go down to Washington and just go down the other way on the way back. I can do both sides.
I have no intention of walking, but I will drive.
You drive.
Yeah.
Let me
I was
explain that.
actually, I was gonna volunteer
When you said
Arlington.
that, I was like, wow, Donna's gonna be out there.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna
Going to
volunteer
drive.
Arlington to Western.
Donna
Oh,
just said,
perfect.
oh, what do you want to do, Donna?
She said the
I will
avenue,
take you the avenues, which is Arlington to Crenshaw.
right? And I
I
take
take-
Arlington to Western.
There we go. That's all of it.
Okay, so you're taking the spot with, from the opposite direction. Cool.
Right.
Right. And if anybody, I'll split it, but I don't mind doing both sides of the street.
Well, Dolores will be with me, so she'll take the north side. I'll take the south side.
Lord, it's mileage.
She didn't hear it. She's eating her food. She.
You know I got bad ankles. I ain't walking.
We know that's not happening. Or two to a car would work.
Okay, this is great. I really thought it was gonna be like 2 blocks. Everybody would just do 2 blocks. So yeah, all we really need to do is
I
identify.
don't think that many trees. I mean, usually maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
If anybody wants a buddy on their day, I'm happy to go. Hunter or James or anyone really.
I'm open to it with a buddy.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Corinne and Siobhan. All right, so what I'll do is I'll go get the list and I will break it down and send it to everybody so everybody knows which ones. That's great.
Dolores, if you want to come with me, we can ride together. Or we can walk together.
Did you not hear me say something about?
Yeah, I said it before you did.
All right, so we'll go to agenda number 5. So I know we've been talking about doing another resource fair, doing some other kind of outreach, big community outreach project in the fall. So I thought, and I know last time, Dolores, you may remember at the resource fair, we did the tree giveaway. City Plants came in and did the tree giveaway. I would really like to, talk to you guys about doing a fruit tree giveaway. I recently attended Senator Cindy Comlager's town hall meeting, and I was talking to a community member about trees. And he said, "Oh, do you know Andy Lipkiss? Do you know tree people?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, about 15 years ago, they gave us some trees, some fruit trees. And to this day, people still come up and talk to me about those fruit trees." So I think it's a great way to provide food for people. Certainly, it's something that helps the environment. I mean, there are a lot of plus sides just for a tree, but the food aspect I think is really great. And there's so many good things besides citrus that we can actually grow here. So I don't know if that's something you guys want to explore.
We did that years ago. People loved it, and they came out. They really came out, and most of them, I think, may still, if not, they know where the tree was planted if it isn't still living. But it works. And I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
If we can get them, that's great.
Yeah, I will check.
Are we talking about just doing a giveaway or a whole resource fair?
I
I
think
don't
it would be
know.
nice to tie it to an event, like we said earlier with the planting trees around the school. I think that is a nice tie-in. We're planting trees around a community area, and we're also giving trees out to the community. If you don't want to wait until fall, or if we think we can get the trees quicker, like maybe it would be nice to just do a quick one. But I don't know. I think more people would come out if they were to note that they could get a tree for themselves and maybe help the school in addition.
The tree giveaway at the resource fair was a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
Putting on that resource fair was a lot of work. So if you want to do something in conjunction with the tree giveaway, I'd suggest something smaller. Or just do the tree giveaway.
It does a lot of they train when they bring trees. They don't just hand it. They want to show you how to take care of it.
There's like a demonstration and they show you everything. But I will say, well, first of all, it's probably going to be done in the fall because that's the best time, the fall or the winter, when it's rainy, our rainy season, to plant the trees. So it'd probably be best in September, October, November to do that. But yes, it was a lot of work, Dolores, but Hunter and this other board member, David Osei, he wants to do outreach. So this is March. So, and I know we can't really fund it until after our new fiscal year, but this is a project that if they want to start working on now, it could be a much larger event, even if it's just the tree planting around the school. Maybe we can work with the council district to close off the street and have
city departments. People come out for the city departments, for sanitation, for street lighting, for DWP, for all that. They have people that do that. They have giveaways up the yin yang. You would not believe the types of things each of the departments is probably trying to get rid of. And street services. When we had our coffee with the cop, we can combine it with highway patrol and the police. So it would be easier to get city departments because they do that anyway. We wouldn't have to worry about trying to get independent agencies, healthcare and stuff like that. But people want to talk to and argue with people who work for the city for things they need or want.
Not argue.
Oh, come on.
Well, we did
Debate,
it at
filthy
Leslie
debate.
Shaw. When we did it at Leslie Shaw, we had a lot of those. I mean, but Dolores was working the phone trying to get, all those people and get confirmation and we, logistics of getting everybody, and then Eric and the city blocked off part of Jefferson, so it was something, it was a lot of work, but I do, and we have Betty Potter Park right here.
Blocking it off is so easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about a main street, and if you close off right here at Arlington and close at Second Avenue on the south. And on the far side, they can come in around the park if they need to. It really works, and have a few things for kids, you got a day.
Yeah. Well, and we can coordinate it with the council office too.
Oh, yeah.
That way we don't have to actually request a permit and go through the whole thing. We can just,
if it goes through them, they have
they
all
can
of
do
it.
that, so.
It's a big weight off your shoulders. Lord knows I know that.
So I'll talk to tree people and find out if they still are supplying fruit trees and the process for getting fruit trees to do a fruit tree giveaway. Everybody's good with that?
Yeah, those work well. And a couple of neighborhood councils, not just ours, West Adams Neighborhood Council and maybe Equa. They might come out, talk about what's going on in their communities. They do it anyway. It's kind of, they should be doing it anyway, but.
So I'll work on trying to find out how to get some fruit trees and then maybe others can explore what we wanna.
If and when you make a date, I don't mind helping. With
If we want to park connected to a resource fair, or we want to just do a tree giveaway, or, what we want to do with that. Okay, so then, another idea I thought, along Washington, right after Arlington, I noticed that 3 trees had been really poorly pruned and they were in the parkway. And I suspect they were done by the little mini mall there. So I don't know, I know a few years ago, we did that walk on Washington, which I thought was a great event. And that was a way for the community to get to know the business people and find out about the businesses. So I thought, how can we reach the businesses and let them know, having trees in front of your business encourages pedestrian traffic, which means you're going to get more sales, or you're going to have more people stop in. So you don't want to. First of all, it's illegal to trim the trees if they belong to the city, and you have to get a permit. But by you damaging the tree like that, you have just missed out on having people walk by your business. So I thought maybe we could create a brochure with some facts and something that we could hand out to businesses and say, hey, here's the proper way to trim your tree, here's the process to get a permit from the city, and here are some facts that will maybe motivate them to not damage the trees and cut them back so severely that those 3 trees, they may even die. So I don't know, not one more project, but I thought it was something I would share and get some feedback.
I wonder, the only thing I'm thinking is, I wonder if we can make it in like a door hanger format, so that way, if businesses are closed along Washington while we're going by, we can at least just put it on their door instead of just leaving, loose leaf paper or something on the ground at their businesses, just kind of ensuring that they get it. But I'm not sure how much information would need to go on that, if it would be double-sided or if you would need all of the pamphlet.
Well, I was thinking of a trifold brochure like we have, and actually going to the business. Hi, we're UNNC. Here's some information on the trees, not just leaving and actually talking to them, letting them know that we're a resource, not just for trees, but other information about the neighborhood council.
I feel like for this one, it requires a face-to-face conversation because people get ornery about things like tree trimming. Like, And just leaving something on a door, like somebody might get grumpy and just throw it in the bin and go, what the heck is this? You know, but I feel like that
That's fair.
requires a face-to-face conversation. There are lots of situations in which I'd be in favor of a door hanger, but
The other issue is a lot of those businesses have workers there and the owners of that business is not there. So you would be talking to the worker bee there and they would pass the information on to the owner because the owner is the one that's out there doing whatever it is in front of his business.
So how do you, how do you suggest we get to the owners, Dolores? How do we get to the people who are making the decision to, you know?
I'm not talking against going door to door and talking to folks. I'm just letting you know. And the reason why I bring that up is that a couple of years ago, when we were doing the election and Lizzie had those flyers and posters they wanted us to put in businesses, the employees that worked in the business say, well, I'll let the owner know. I can't make that decision. That's why I brought it up. You can talk to the people that work there, but they're just going to pass the information on to the owner if they do. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking against going door to door. I'm just letting that was just a thought.
Like, we're just exploring now, but this is
Yeah.
not, we're just brainstorming.
I would be willing to take a couple of blocks, call everybody up and say, hey, when is the owner usually in? And try to time it for when they're going to be around, as long as that doesn't conflict with the work day. And I realize for a lot of us, it probably does. But I'd be willing to at least give it a try and try to make that happen mornings, lunchtimes, that kind of thing. See if it works.
Dolores, thank you, Siobhan. Do you remember when UNNC did the walk on Washington, how they went about reaching out to the business?
Oh man, that was so long ago. Oh, let me see.
Well, I mean, that's another great, we had just moved here and that was really a great event. I'll just be honest with you, to walk down Washington and talk to, all the businesses. Many of them were open and
they did things.
yeah, and they gave out.
They
little
gave
things.
out food or things that
Yeah,
was well received.
Yeah, it was great.
the stakeholders really enjoyed that because a lot of people said, I didn't even know this business was here.
Right?
It did work.
Yeah, I mean, that, Hunter, if you're looking for a great project, or an event, that walk on Washington was really well received.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, it sounds great.
Was that Rosie? Who chaired that, Dolores? Do you remember?
That was Denise. She was the president at that time.
Fairchild. No, Denise.
Huh?
What's Denise's last name?
Denise Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She comes to a lot of things too.
yeah. She works for here at Dawson. Okay, well, that's just something to think about. I'll think some more, brochure, some way to communicate, and also homeowners. I think many of them are unaware or confused on who is responsible for the tree in their parkway. So that's we could do a brochure for homeowners or for apartment buildings, so they know the process and who to reach out to if there's a problem with that tree, instead of just, hiring some, having their gardener cut it into a damage it. Yeah, Candace.
One of the things I found really useful that I've gotten a couple years ago was, I think it was a magnet. Because people love to just throw paper around if it's stuck in the door. But if it's something that looks like it's valuable and you could put it on the fridge, like if it's like numbers to call for the trimming, things like that. I actually, like, on my street, when people stick those things in the windows, like free estimates on your car, little, things, I actually get really mad because everyone takes them out of their windshield, throws it on the ground, and then I'll end up picking it up. So I usually call and I'm like, don't leave this here unless, you plan on coming and collecting all the ones on the ground, and it becomes a whole thing. But something that, like, you know, is valuable, they could put on their fridge, they could hang it up. If it's some type of thing like that, I think it's more sustainable than, you know, paper and stuff.
And I think UNNC used to have a magnet with, you know, 9311 bulk pickup.
All
Maybe-
kinds of things.
Yeah, maybe we could, that's something we could do and put you know, information on tree trimming and street services and lighting when your lights out, you know, all the different things that.
I
Something
know
that,
Heather Hart's office gives those away at events that they have a booth at. They were just giving those away at Sickle Bee or
Magnets?
something. Yeah, magnets, and it has all of like the city phone numbers on it for things
Yeah.
like you were
yeah,
mentioning.
they have them already.
That was her her love hut thing in their swag bag. They had those magnets with all the city resources on it.
Okay.
I do like those. I agree that is a really good idea. If we could do something like that for maybe something else, but the phone numbers, yeah, I think
We
think
probably
should-
have some old ones in the storage room, wouldn't we?
Yeah, but we have a new logo now and, you know,
They probably have them through the city already at Heather's office. I bet you can get some.
what, would we wanna just get some from CD10 and distribute those, or do we wanna create our own?
Well, this would be for tree trimming specifically, right? As opposed to the phone
Be
numbers.
for neighborhood council.
I don't know, I mean, that's what I mean, it can be whatever we want it to be, Donna. It could be,
What the focus is, yeah.
yeah, would someone want to just have a magnet that just, yes, I would, but that just talked about trees and having, you know, here's the number for tree trimming, or here's a city, or if the tree, you know, is damaged in a car accident, this is the number you call. I don't know, it's something that, just an idea, something that we can explore some more, but I think the magnet is a better idea than doing the brochure, yeah.
And we can have more than one magnet. One could be city services, the other on tree.
Mhm.
People like those things.
And I have an idea how much they
All
cost,
over there.
Yeah.
I don't think they're that expensive.
but
You
maybe,
can, all the little things to giveaways. When we do it for, Jeff has this company called.
yeah. The person who did our flashlights and our pens and things like that, we could probably check with them on the cost of doing a magnet too.
It's not even, it's those little soft rubber things. Adhere to your metal.
Yeah,
They're not even as expensive as the old ones. They're probably a lot more.
so the next one, and then we can start wrapping up, is a round robin discussion. If anybody has any ideas or suggestions about anything they want us to explore in the next meeting. No? Okay, well then, I'm totally fine calling this meeting adjourned. Cause it's almost 8 o'clock and that we've been doing it for an hour, so thank you guys very much, Hunter, Dolores, Corinne, Siobhan, Candace, James, for coming out. And
Hello, Kitty.
all right, thank you guys, and we'll see you next month.
Love your,
Thank you,
love your
guys.
neighbors, hug your trees.
All right, good night.
All right, bye, Dolores. Thank you,
Good night.
Dolores.